from trichomes.com, I'm Jason Kitamura, and this is Tech and Cannabis. I talk with game changers in the tech community to gain valuable insights into the future of the fast-paced cannabis industry. Today, we are joined by Jason Klein, president of Inanna Manufacturing. Inanna is a white label manufacturer of edibles, tinctures, pre-rolls, topicals, and more. They have recently partnered with ALT, Advanced Liquid Technology, and is using nanotechnology to enhance the absorption speed and consistency of edibles, making them more predictable and more appealing to the emerging market. We talk about nanotechnology along with the beverage and topicals market and how this technology is changing the industry. Okay, and today we have Jason Klein, president of Inanna Manufacturing. Thanks for coming on to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So it seems like you're a white labeling specialist. So basically, if somebody has a product and they want to have it made, that you're taking existing technologies, existing other companies that can kind of help out with this process, putting everything together and manufacturing for the company. Is that pretty much how it works, or if you want to enlighten a little bit more?
Sure. Yeah, we are. We're located here in Los Angeles, licensed in the California cannabis market. And so what we do is we will take either a house recipe. We had our chefs and also our product formulators create some house recipes for some of the products we make, such as gummies, tinctures, topicals, taffy, hard candy. We will take those and we will make those for clients and literally white label. We'll make them for clients, put their brand name on there. Alternatively, we have clients that have developed their own formulation or recipes, or who have proprietary intellectual property for infusion or a different process, and we can take a client's recipe or formulation, we can bring that to life, make it into a product, and then put their brand sticker on it in order for it to be sold to retail.
Got it. So the focus of your guys' manufacture is mostly edibles?
Mostly edibles, yeah. The vast majority of what we do is edibles. In addition to that, we do topicals, tinctures, smaller beverages, and then we also just secured a pill press machine with the associated setups. We're going to start making pressed pills, orally dissolvable pills, which would be considered mints, or effervescent tablets. That can be formulated, put into a beverage or water. It'll carbonate it, it'll flavor it, and also infuse it with THC.
Interesting. And just from my observation, obviously with all the legalization and things that are changing, the entire industry is booming. But edibles in particular look like it's having kind of legs of its own. I guess in your words, kind of explain how the industry is going on the edible side of everything right now.
Sure. So we, when we have clients that come into us, I talk to them fairly regularly about the split and the segmentation in the market today, where you've got a lot of companies that are marketing to the cannabis consumer of the past or of today, who want the highest milligrams at the lowest cost. They're really utilizing the product just to get high. They want to get the most bang for their bucks. Then you've got the cannabis consumer of tomorrow, who is who's taking more and more market share every month and every year. They want microdose. They want to be able to know how much cannabis they're getting, how many milligrams they're getting. They want to be able to portion out their doses and potentially get something that's a smaller dose, either for functional purposes, just because they have a lighter tolerance or whatnot. So we're really seeing that differentiation in the market today. And with the consumers of yesterday, they want to get those edibles that are just the cheapest. They want to get that 100 milligrams for the least price they can get on the shelf. The cannabis consumers of tomorrow are the ones that are really driving the edible industry today, though. Because if you take a vape or a pre-roll, anything like that, you don't know how many milligrams of cannabis you're getting in there. There's also no isolated minor cannabinoids to be able to identify. And so, with the technology today for extraction, where all of the minor cannabinoids can be separated out, you could use nanotechnology for a more rapid onset, and then be able to put those back into a finished edible product. That's what we're seeing driving the edible market. That's the one that we're catering to, very specific, and they're buying more and more edibles, and they also love the how discreet they are, where you can carry them around, they don't smell, they don't leave an aftertaste, they're very easily consumable.
Gotcha. And I'm not an expert or anything on this entire process, but I do know. I think I read somewhere that you guys recently partnered with the company that's doing like the transparent THC liquid. I think
Yes,
it's called like Advanced Liquid Technology. That's the company,
correct.
correct?
That's correct.
So just in my perspective, I know like there's a big like the issue with edibles that people are that have the fear is that they don't feel the effects right away.
Hmm.
And then they tend to overdose if they don't feel like they got enough, and it's kind of like a guessing game on like how it's really going to affect you. But I've read that using this technology, the nanotechnology, to kind of shrink the particles, make the onset a lot quicker, so people can actually feel what's happening right away to kind of mitigate um, the potential of them taking too much. Is that kind of on the right track?
Yeah, 100%. I'll talk to a lot of consumers that are what we call legacy consumers that have been, utilizing cannabis since before it became legal. And as soon as I talk about edibles, I could see the fear in their eyes. And I know that it's for one of two reasons. Either, sometime in the past they had a brownie, they broke it in half, gave half to one of their friends and kept it, and they got 95% of the THC, and they were, that was not what they bargained for. Or you get somebody who took an edible, they waited an hour, nothing happened, and so they took a second edible, and right then the first one kicked in, and then you're along for the ride in that. And so by utilizing nanotechnology, you don't have that same lag, delay in effects. Usually from the studies that we've done, traditional active THC onset is about 45 minutes to an hour. With nano, you've got it in somewhere between 15 to 25 minutes. People that are lighter consumers, they'll feel it in 5 to 10 minutes. So that's we're in such an instant gratification culture today that I think that faster onset makes a big difference for many consumers out there. And then something that we've noticed with nano that I don't hear anybody talking about is like, for example, our CEO, she's a very light cannabis user, right? And when she takes an edible at night that has traditional THC in it, she wakes up and she has a cannabis hangover the next morning. When you have a nano or a rapid onset edible, it goes through the bloodstream quicker, and so it's going to get out of the bloodstream quicker. And so when she takes a nano edible, for example, she doesn't wake up with that weed hangover the next morning. And that's a big selling point for lighter consumers. I just don't hear anybody really talking about this.
Yeah, it sounds like it's a win-win for everybody. If you're a more heavy use consumer, you get the effects quicker, so that's everybody
Mm-hmm.
likes that. But then also
Yes.
for safety reasons, the ability to like recover quicker. But it seems like there's also well, like what you're saying with the brownie scenario, it seems like it kind of spreads more evenly throughout the product as well when it's I guess a H2O soluble. Is that what it is?
Exactly. Yeah, it's the water soluble. It's much easier from our side in terms of the formulation for us to homogenize that into whatever product we're making, and it does spread it and disperse it much easier because of that water solubility.
Okay, and I guess what other applications do you think the nanotechnology can do? Because I know, there's some talk about it being able to separate certain cannabinoids and things like that as well. So like, what's like the long term goal of what can be done with this technology?
Yeah, I would say that in addition to the rapid onset of the THC, which is going to give you that high quicker, a lot of the therapeutic benefits that people take edibles for can be experienced much quicker. For example, we use a lot of THCA. THCA is something that I think is really, it isn't given the credit it deserves because, from my personal experience, it's kind of like a cannabis ibuprofen or cannabis Tylenol, where it does have extreme, pain relief tendencies. I often suffer from lower back pain. I don't want to be taking prescription pills. I don't want to be taking over-the-counter pain pills. THCA is the one thing that really helps me. And so, if I am in pain and I want to take something to relieve it, I want to get that pain as quickly as possible. I don't want to take, the THCA and have to wait an hour for my pain to go away. So I do see the therapeutic benefits from the nano in terms of the edibles. And then, drinks are a great case for nano just because of it's already liquid. It's going to get in your bloodstream extremely quick. So, I personally wouldn't make drinks without using nano unless I wanted to have the natural terpenes in there. And then, the other aspect I see is skincare. I haven't seen anybody in the cannabis industry that's using nano in their skincare. I'm sure they're out there. I just haven't seen them. But if you go into a large department store, if you go to any beauty, you'll see that a lot of the moisturizers are advertising themselves as nano. So that would be a tremendous benefit, I think, to consumers.
That's interesting because obviously we're seeing the quicker effects when you take it internally. But do you know, is there any data or have you seen anything when it's applied topically, if it makes much of a difference when it's in nano?
So I haven't seen the data, but I've seen the effects firsthand. There's a few people within our circle that we've encouraged to use nano topicals, because they've got joint pain, even for a psoriasis or skin condition like that. We have seen the therapeutic effects happen much quicker. Obviously, going topically is not going to be the most effective delivery method. Some people just don't want to ingest THC. Some people, they just like being able to put that cream on there. And so to have it really penetrate into the skin rapidly makes a big difference. But I haven't seen too much technical data supporting this.
Yeah, it's still too new, but I'm thinking it's coming. I guess backtracking a little bit to beverages, because I know that's a big kind of topic. I see these companies kind of pop in and pop out. And what's your take on the whole beverage market?
I think it's a fantastic. Opportunity. I think it's an amazing way to use water soluble THC and really get a lot of bang for the buck. The issues that I'm seeing right now in the marketplace is, first off, beverages are going to be the pallets for distribution. They're going to be larger. They're going to be heavier. Beverages are not small. They take up a lot of space. They're heavy. Then in addition, you've got to have refrigeration for a lot of the beverages out there, unless they have preservatives in them. That means your distributor's got to have refrigerated storage. And then going to the retail side, a lot of dispensaries, they just don't have refrigeration systems set up for display. And so, beverages are great, but I think it's a little bit of still in its infancy because of these factors where the industry is really catching up to the explosion, in beverages. And what we've seen, what I really like based on all those factors would be, beverage substitutes or additive is what I call it. Alt is a great example. That's the product they have there is a beverage additive. It's a very small vial. You can put it into, a juice, a water, a soda, anything like that. I always encourage people, if they're going out to the bar, if they're cannabis consumers and they don't like alcohol, you could have one of those little alt vials with you, pop it into a beverage, and then you can drink along with your friends without having to drink alcohol. And then for us also, the effervescent tablets, being able to put those into a drink, kind of like an Alka-Seltzer, infuse and flavor it, is a great beverage alternative. And then also we're working in R&D right now for some powdered beverage, powdered beverages mixes, where you'd be able to take those, have them in a stick pack, put them into water, soda, mix it in there, and then it's going to provide the beverage onset. So I like all of those different factors, and I think the beverages also are going to start having a much stronger foothold as more on-site consumption locations open up. It's going to be like bars, and it's going to be much easier for people to consume a beverage, take a shot, whatever it is, and get that real fast onset.
Got it. Yeah, I could see like the trend is really changing. Before it's more of like, people are using cannabis only like with their other cannabis using friends and in groups and, planned scenarios. And it seems like, all the products are becoming these kind of discreet carry along, like use it when you can. So they, not only for, just the ability to get high and enjoy yourself. But a lot of people are using it for the therapeutic part of it, and they want to like make it part of their daily habit. And I think that's changing the industry for sure. What about your take on skincare? I know you're talking about skincare a little bit. Where do you think that's headed? I know I see more like CBD related,
Yeah.
infused skincare product, but what about like THC infused as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, just because of the effectiveness of and the penetration of topicals, THC is always going to be a bit limited when it comes to the topical industry, just because it's not going to give you that quick high, which a lot of people are looking for in THC. That's why you see a lot more of CBD out there and beverages in the topical space. But I see topicals are going to have the biggest growth when it comes to the minor cannabinoids. CBD is an excellent example, and I get people all the time that will tell me, hey, I got CBD skincare. I just got it at the grocery store or the corner market. What I tell them is, that's hemp derived CBD, which is great. It does have those CBD molecules and milligrams in there. However, a lot of people greatly underestimate the entourage effect, where when you get THC mixed in with your CBD, even if it's just a minor amount that's still retained from the cannabis extraction, that'll kick in the cannabinoid receptors in your brain, has a much higher intake, and so you're going to get a much greater effect from having CBD with just that smaller amount of THC in there. And then, as I said, THCA I think is extremely undervalued but highly utilized for pain. So THCA is something that I always recommend people to put it in their topicals if they want any sort of pain relief, to be associated with the use of it.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I want to kind of, I guess, get into, for those out there that are listening that potentially have an idea, that they have a edible brand that they want to start creating. I mean, what's kind of the benefits from working with a company like yours instead of like, starting from scratch? I know compliance is a huge issue. Like, what's kind of the benefits? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one of the main benefits off the bat is clients not having to go get their own license. It's it's a really arduous process. We've been through it multiple times for the manufacturing as well as some retail outlets that we have. And by the time you apply, you got to pay holding costs for your property. You got to pay the application fees, build out. I mean, it's a whole thing. So going through the process of getting licensed is arduous, lengthy, and expensive. What we're able to do is we're able to take companies that are, in ancillary businesses, potentially that are in California that don't have a cannabis license but want to get into the marketplace, or companies from out of state or even internationally that want to come in and break into the California marketplace, but they don't want to have to wait or spend the time for licensing. So what we're able to do is we execute an IP licensing agreement with the client, meaning that we're able to produce a product on their behalf with their labeling. In conjunction with that, we add them as a financial interest holder under our license, which means we make a disclosure to the state, say that this particular entity, while they don't have a cannabis license, they are going to be making a profit off of the sale of cannabis. And by virtue of that, we're able to then produce the products for them, put them into the legal marketplace. So that's one of the big benefits that we have, and one of the strong points. In addition to that, there's quite a few licensed brands that are within the state of California, either retail dispensaries, distributors, or manufacturers that don't have, kitchen capabilities, or cultivators. And we're able to go to them, put their brand, their oil, their flower into a product, and then produce it on their behalf and give them the capabilities to add another product SKU to their arsenal without them having to add to their existing facilities and build out a commercial kitchen, which is, a whole big beast in and of itself.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I mean, all the headache, all the tough stuff you guys already took care of. I mean, they just really have to worry about marketing and making their brand. So, I mean,
Yeah.
do you see more people who just kind of have an idea and are wanting to start a brand, or is it more established companies adding like a line of edibles or something like that to what they already have?
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a pretty even mix, honestly. We're getting a lot of brands that want to expand their product offering, but then we're also getting a lot of companies and individuals that are trying to break into the marketplace. And they want us to be able to make that product and move quickly. And they'll come to us because either they have a formula, but they haven't been able to really dial it in with the cannabis edition because they don't have a license, or they have yet to develop a formula and they want to piggyback on the experience and the time that we've spent in developing these house formulas to be able to produce a product quickly to market without having to wait for the R&D lead time. And then in addition, a lot of them will come to us because we're purchasing everything in scale, whether it's a raw inactive ingredient, whether it's the active THC or minor cannabinoids. We're buying in larger scale, so we're able to get quantity discounts for each of these components and pass them along to our clients. And so we generally tend to find that with the the operational efficiencies that we have in scaling, and also the quantity discounts that we get on ingredients, we're able to usually produce goods for clients at the same or lesser cost than they'd be able to do themselves.
Wow. What do you think the turnaround time is from like idea to actually like having a product that's out there? What's kind of the time frame you think with you guys?
Yeah, so I would say, if a client comes in and if they just want to do a gummy or a tincture, something that we already have a formula for, then the biggest bottleneck in those cases is going to come from the packaging. It takes a long time. A lot of these companies source internationally. Everybody's favorite excuse of COVID for shipping delays. So it takes a while to get the packaging in. Once packaging arrives to our facility, contract's been signed, it's usually about a 3-week turnaround for us to produce the product, QC it, package it up, and then we have to send it off to distribution for them to do third-party COA tests. So usually from the time the packaging is in our facility to the time that it's ready to go to retail is about 3 weeks. Alternatively, if there's a client who either wants us to develop a recipe for them, or they have a recipe that they've put together that they want us to bring to life, it's usually going to be a 3-week R&D process to really scale in the recipe and the formulation. Any raw materials that we aren't already using, we're going to have to send out for Cat 3 testing before we need to do any production, just to make sure that none of those are going to pass or fail for residual solvents, pesticides, any chemicals like that. So about 3-week R&D process, and then another 3 weeks for the production. So say 6 weeks total.
Oh, still a fraction if you're trying to do it yourself and try to get all your compliance and your license and everything and all your equipment and everything in line. Yeah, this is like nothing compared to something like that. So yeah, that's
much faster.
Hey, exactly. Well, yeah, I mean, this is exciting stuff. Is there any last things before we go that you want to talk about? What's the kind of the future for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, the future is, we, as I said, we just got in this pill press and setting it up. That's something I'm really excited about. I think that, one of the biggest gaps in the market right now comes from press pills, tablets, where there's not many companies that are doing it well. And you're able to go up to a much higher dosage when you're doing press pills as opposed to edibles, where you could do 25 milligrams in a single piece versus 10 milligrams in an edible. And so we're super excited to get that machine set up, start producing some tablets, start producing some mints. I think it's really the future of the industry to have tablets like that somebody could just take on the fly. They don't have to get any sugar. There's no gluten. So we're super excited about that rolling out next month.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I want to thank you for coming on to the show. If people want to get started with you guys, what's the easiest way?
Sure. If they want to get started with us, they could reach out to me directly. They go to our website, which is Inanna, INANNAMFG.com. They could email me at jason@inanna.co, or they could go follow us on Instagram or LinkedIn at Inanna_MFG.
Awesome. Yeah. So again, thanks for coming on the show. Yeah, it sounds interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what type of stuff is going to be produced out of your shop. And yeah, we'll keep in touch and we'll let you know when this goes out.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks a lot. Once again, I want to thank Jason Klein with Inanna Manufacturing for coming onto the show, and for all your cannabis news and for other podcasts like this one, come visit us at www.trichomes.com. If you want to reach out to the show, email us at techandcannabis@trichomes.com. I'm Jason Kitamura. Thanks for joining us.